Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about economics. What is economics exactly? What is the basics of what we're talking about before we get into our competitive politics part of the course? Is economics about money, that paper linen with ink thing? And really, that's not what economics is about. That's what finance is about, is how you deal with money. But economics is not about money. Instead, it's about what Friedrich von Hayek, famous economist, said: the curious task of economics is to demonstrate to men how little they really know about what they imagine they can design. Most people don't go through the thought process when they make the choice of what the choices actually cost, not only to themselves, but to other people and society at large. So, economics is basically the science of choices. Okay. Now, it is a study. It is not necessarily a perfect science. It is the study of people and how they make choices to deal with the concept of scarcity. And the concept of scarcity is the fundamental problem that exists everywhere. So we might ask about questions about society, things like, why does Okotime provide better service than AT&T? Because it really does. Why is housing so expensive in California? There's a reason for it. Why doesn't everyone in the world simply get water for free? Why does the average farm worker make 17.45 an hour while like the average NBA player makes around $4,000 an hour? Why doesn't everyone work together towards alleviating climate change? Because climate change is an issue. Why aren't we all working together to do it? And the reason is why we study economics. It's scarcity. Scarcity being the unlimited resources that exist to fulfill unlimited wants and needs. And wherever you go in society, we're going to be dealing with this problem. And this problem is the fundamental issue of there's not enough resources to fulfill the world's unlimited wants and needs. And so then like study how people make choices to deal with unlimited wants and needs. You have this many resources, you have this many wants and needs out there. The entire world does. And we got to understand that scarcity impacts everyone. The fundamental issue of scarcity impacts everyone. Just because you have more money does not mean you don't get impacted by scarcity. It's simply unlimited wants and limited resources is just different. It doesn't mean it's like better, worse necessarily. Okay. Now, to deal with scarcity, we got to figure out the value of something. That's where a price comes in. A price is a measurement of value. And we know that the higher the value of something, that the higher the price will be. So you can determine that, look, something is actually more valuable because the price is higher. Why does that occur? We'll be talking about that. The lower the value, the lower the price. Pretty simple. Now, scarcity comes in because the more scarce something is, the price goes up. And the less scarce something is, the price and the value go down. You got to keep that thing in mind. There's not like prices don't go up or down because like just willy nilly. And then people love to go into this like, well, wait a minute. Eggs, remember when eggs like went nuts and shot up in price and people were just like, well, egg producers are price gouging. No, a bunch of chickens died because of bird flu. Therefore, chickens became more scarce. Therefore, eggs became more scarce. Therefore, the price went through the roof. It's that simple. Okay. Now, let's talk about scarcity and pricing. If there's less of something available, or if people want more of something, or both are true at the same time, more scarcity, higher price. Russia attacks Ukraine, the supply of oil drops, price goes up. At the same time, summertime happens in California, more people are driving, price of oil goes up. That's why you have high gas prices. When things are less scarce, price goes down. When there's more of something available, price goes down. People want less of something, price goes down. Both these things happen at the same time, price goes down. That's simple. That's the main reason. That's the primary driver of prices is the idea of scarcity. More scarce, higher price. Less scarce, lower price. Basic, simple, very fundamental economics. Okay. Now, prices do impact people's choices. So, this is where prices impact economics: water, food, housing, clothing, transportation, all these things, war, entertainment, education, climate change, schools. All these things impact the choices that these institutions and these elements have in terms of what they're doing to relieve the issues of scarcity. And so now we're looking at the study of how people make choices to deal with the fundamental issues of scarcity. This is where we get into the five core rules of economics. You're gonna have to know these five rules upside down, inside out, round and round. Okay. And I'm going to refer to them over and over and over again. And rule number one is people act within their own self interest. Ultimately, everybody acts within their own self interest. Okay. And now, self interest are actions taken that create a personal benefit. Everybody does something for their own personal benefit. You don't go to school because you don't have a personal benefit. You go to school because you get benefit of that. What that is, we can talk about. When we delve deeper into economics, we understand that self-interest actually can create good things for society. Adam Smith, the original free market economist, it is not from the benevolence of the butcher, the brewer, or the baker that we expect our dinner, but from their regard to their own self-interest. We address ourselves not to their humanity, but to their self-love, and not to talk to them of our own necessities, but of their advantages. When you go to a bakery, you don't go to a bakery because the bakery is nice. You go to the bakery because they have something you want. You're going to benefit if you get what you want. They want your money. You both are self-interested. They get your money, you get whatever baked goods. They're happy, you're happy. You both benefit. Self-interest has worked to an advantage of both parties. Okay? Now, and when you think about it, it exists on a multiple realm. I mean, you have so many sodas out there, all kinds of choices. You can decide what to drink, what you want to drink, but when it comes down to it, you're going to make that choice regarding your own self interest, which is why there's so many choices out there, because it's in the self interest of these companies to produce something that's actually good for you in your own mind. Okay. There'll be diet sodas, there'll be, seltzer waters, those kinds of things, all these different things, because everybody has a different idea of of self-interested wants and needs. And that creates like, okay, well, then I need to get out there, I need to compete because I want the money of those people because I'm self-interested. Okay. And look, where you live in the country, that kind of like determines also the values are different. Like, did you know that there's actually different ways people talk about soda? So here in California, like I say it all the time, that's soda. But when you get into the Midwest, upper Midwest, all of a sudden soda becomes a pop. I'm going to go grab a pop. Or just like every soda in the South, all of a sudden sodas are Cokes. I'm going to go grab a Coke. Even though you're not grabbing a Coke, you're grabbing a Mountain Dew. Okay. And very rarely, something mainly in places like California, uh, do you ever hear like, I'm going to go grab a soft drink? But different values, different ideas drive different elements of self interest, which impact people's choices to deal with scarcity. Businesses overcome this by trying to meet their self interest by offering you all kinds of choices. They're trying to get profit. That's how they deal with scarcity. You want your goods and services. So that's how you're dealing with scarcity. Okay. And values change everywhere. Okay. So when you're talking about, okay, well, then if a company has self interest and you notice that a lot of people in the southern part of the United States speak Spanish at home, then if a company wants to do well, it's going to start realizing, oh, maybe I got to do some things in Spanish. Maybe I got to like attract people that are from Spanish speaking countries that live in the United States. I need to attract their communities. So I need to meet their self interest. Okay. Or businesses open like from these other countries that realize, well, wow, there's a lot of Spanish speakers in these states. Maybe I'm going to open a business that's going to attract Spanish speakers, not just have goods and services, but open a business. All this revolves around self interest. And it even goes farther than that. Language most commonly spoken at home other than English or Spanish. In California, you may start seeing much more Mandarin style businesses or Mandarin style products because Chinese is rising. By the way, so is Filipino here in the state of California. But when you go across the United States, we are such a diverse culture and have such different values that actually impacts other people's self interest. And when you think about it, in this class, you're actually not studying like one country, this United States. We're going to be studying six, in total seven, but in the EP test, it's all six of these. So when we look at the choices these other countries make, remember economic rule number one, every one of these doesn't, because it just doesn't start with a person, it goes to communities, it goes to cities, it goes to states, it goes to countries. All these countries have their different sets of values, their own sense of norms, their own sense of culture, and that impacts their overall self interest. So, when we get into economics and the study of choices and how do you deal with limited resources to meet unlimited wants and needs, it goes down to the very basic level of you as a person, but it also can get as big as the country. So, fundamental problem everywhere in existence, the problem of scarcity.